Hi guys, Vinyl Tag 2021. Saw so many videos from you guys out there, and I thought just make my own attempt. Haven't made a video in a while. Whatever. Starting off with the discovery in 2020, a lot of these neo-funk, soul, break labels like Daptone, Coal Mine, Big Crown, and all these Penrose recordings. Loved all these releases, and I discovered this trio here. It's the Delvin Lamar Organ Trio. It's a live LP, and it's phenomenal. They're totally in the groove. So much fun listening to them. New album is coming out in a couple of days, and I can't wait. Awesome. Quarantine buy. So I bought a lot of records in quarantine. Since we have our second lockdown in Germany right now here, this is from the last one in March, April, and it is Bosco. I'm sorry for the glare here. It's Bosco. It's a Numero Group reissue of the fantastic. Yeah, it's kind of a spiritual soul jazz record, I would say. The first long track on side A is only spoken word, and then you have some funk tunes, some spiritual jazz elements, and it's phenomenal. And especially for 2020, I mean, this record is at least 40 years old. No, it's close to 50 years. This came out in 73. 47 years old, but it's very, very important record for 2020. An LP you want to find in 2021. Okay, there are a lot of records I would find. I don't have a special list or so here. I think I just want to find more jazz records. There are a few on my list that I would like to find, but nothing to name here in specific. A box set. Okay, I have this For Against. It's a box set that came out on Captured Tracks a couple years ago. For Against is I don't know, you would say maybe college rock, indie alternative band from the 80s. Their debut came out, I think, in 1987, and then they made another record. And this box set contains their really highly recommended debut called Echelons. And then they had another album, December, and then there's a compilation included as well called In the Marshes. And originals of these are pretty hard to find, especially the debut album. And since I didn't find an original, one day I just found this box set, which is beautifully made, like everything on Captured Tracks. And I think most people don't know this band, and I highly recommend it. Just check it out. They're awesome. Absolutely beautiful. Concept album. Okay, I'm going for Sufjan Stevens. Nothing too special here. Come on, Feel the Illinois. It's one of a few albums that he did. He planned to do 50 records for every state. I think, when I remember correctly, this, of course, is the outstanding, phenomenal highlight, in my opinion, of his career. And this is the, I think it's an 10th anniversary with a Marvel figure here. I think they had balloons on there, and in the very first editions they had Superman or so. So I'm pretty glad this is on colored vinyl, and there's a special bonus disc in a star-shaped 10-inch or so. Very nice. Sufjan Stevens. An album where an artist band changed directions. Okay. I had to think about this one a lot because I do not, I don't know, I didn't find one too easy. So I chose a band that changed directions with every album in my recognition, and that is Wayne. And this one is my favorite. Actually, when I was 17, 16, 17 years old, I was 17, and this year just changed my life when I listened to this one here. It's Ween doing a perfect country album. They had all the people from Nashville, people that worked with legends, and the arrangements and the songwriting and stuff. I mean, if the lyrics weren't there, you would think this is just another perfectly made country album. But of course it isn't. Favorite songs is Piss Up a Rope, Powder Blue, Fluffy is super good, Help Me Scrape the Mucus Off My Brain, also very good. So if you don't know this album, check it out. I don't have a white label promo. I mean, I have quite a bunch of records, but I don't have a white label promo. So what I did is I chose this. This came out for Record Store Day, I think in 2019. It's Bob Dylan's Blonde on the Tracks, like he intended it, and he recorded this by himself in New York City. And they re-released it, and yeah, wrote test pressing on it, and that's the whitest I can get. Sorry for that. But this is awesome, by the way. Okay, I didn't understand completely what a compilation album was meant by. I took a compilation, which I rediscovered recently. I have it in the collection for a couple years now. It is from 2016 and features a lot of grime and garage producers and MCs from the UK. It's on the XL Recordings label. I think this is not well known, and all the people are not well known. I think I don't recognize anybody here on this list. So this is pretty much underground. Nice photos here. It's on white vinyl, I think. That's a badass compilation. And then I also rediscovered another compilation album by one artist, and that will be Chris Isaak. I once found this in a thrift store, I think for, I don't know, 20 cents. Immaculate condition, great artist. I really like listening to this stuff. An album that tells a story. I mean, he tells stories with every album, but maybe there is my story going with the album. I saw this guy live a couple of years ago here in town in a very, very small venue. And it was not really a live venue. It was part of the Art Institute of our university, and was just a really small place. And to come in there, to get in there, they ask what you would like to pay. So this tells much about the audience, because a lot of students were there and people with very little money, and they had kind of a small bar and just sold beer out of the cases. And he was alone on stage with his guitar, and he had a guy who did like an art show for him with video, old photographs and stuff, and just some animation in the background. And that was a fantastic atmosphere. And I think there were only like 30 or 35 people there, but it was so intense. Nice summer evening, warm evening, and he had all his vinyl records with him, signed them for me because I bought a bunch of those. They were relatively cheap. It's a German guy from Hamburg, but he acts, or he tells stories that sound very American. Okay, here we are. It's Sally Timms, To the Land of Milk and Honey. She once was in the Mekons, or she still is. Are the Mekons still alive? I don't know. It's a fantastic album. I saw her live when I was a quite young boy, 15, 16 years old. A friend of mine took me to a club and she was playing there. So that was in the mid 90s because it was a tour for this album. It's fantastic and it never came out on vinyl. An album, a common album and an uncommon album. I think that's the most common you can get with Neil Young. I still love this album. I don't listen to it too much, to be honest. This is the 2009 original analog master tapes from that series here. And it sounds fantastic, of course. So this is my copy. And an uncommon album by him, because it's also rare, is this here. It's the Unplugged album, which is one of my favorite live albums of all time. Just a fantastic mix of songs. He doesn't play all the hits. He also plays stuff that is not so well known or was very new by the time, like From Hand to Hendrix and stuff, Unknown Legend. And this is just a fantastic record and sounds very, very nice. An EP, one of my favorite records from last year, Loran with Mourning and Melancholia. And she is, grieving on this EP. I think she lost her boyfriend and sings 4 songs that cannot be more sad than this. Absolutely recommend this one. It's very short, but it's very, very good. It's, I think, a limited edition, secretly Canadian, Loran. A girl group, a record I love now for many, many years. I think this came out in 2014. I think on Burger Records, which does not longer exist. It's Habibi with their self-titled debut. And this is kind of a punk, power pop mix. Super nice. An album cover you love. Yeah, that's it. And that's the cover. I don't know if you know this. This is Black Hearted Brother. Stars are Our Home. It's on Slumberland Records. And I just love the colors and the graphics. Look at this gatefold. Beautiful. Also, it's a very good album. And it's great guitar music. Neil Halstead of Slowdive and Mojave 3 and stuff is on here, and it's fantastic. An album you've listened to the most, and that'll be Tortoises, Millions Now Living Will Never Die. This is my OG European pressing. I have a colored one also, but also this, when I was 17 in 1996, I had a radio DJ, which was my favorite radio DJ, and he played the whole album in one show, and I copied it onto my tape and listened to it in my mom's car all the time. And yeah, so many times. So good. Album you had to get an OG copy of. A couple years ago, I went to a guy's house here in town, and he sold a lot of original records that mostly sat in his, or on the shelves, like since the 90s. And I bought a few OG copies of stuff that was unavailable for a lot of years. I think most of them you can get now, like including this one. But when I saw this in mint condition, This is the German original, of course. There's only a German original. They didn't release it on vinyl in the States. This is on the German City Slang label. This is just one of my favorite records, and I'm so proud to own an OG. Not the white one, but at least the black one. An album you had to get, the last album you purchased. Okay. This is a guy called Sailor, or Will Long, that's his real name. He's a producer of house music, but he also has this moniker Sailor, and this is straight ambient music, beautifully recorded and mixed. This is a mix between field recordings and ambient sounds, a double LP called Shishi. I think that is Chinese. He's living in Tokyo, Japan. So this record also came from his home address. So he sent me this, bought it via Bandcamp. And this, yeah, beautiful. An album they don't get. Okay, let's try. I recommended this to a lot of people. It's Sheena Williams and his African percussionists, African dances. This is African music, which I learned about in the past 2 years, I'd say. I never was interested in world music, African music and stuff. So I was really happy to find this one, or to get to know this one, because this is the VMP, Vinyl Me Please edition, on a beautiful color. And this is groovy. This is really good. A punk album. I'm not too much into punk, and I think this album will not be considered as punk by everybody, but I think this is my earliest, yeah, maybe my earliest punk record that I can remember. When I was around 11 or 12, my brother and I, we bought the CD of this, Bad Religion Against the Grain, originally recorded in 1990, I think, and also released, so this is 30 years old. And this is the RSD edition from, I can't tell, 2015 or so. Still a great album. Favorite 2020 release? No, reissue. Sorry. And that'll be this one. I've been looking for an OG for 8-9 years now. Originals go for around 200. And I was very surprised to learn last year that this gets a Japanese exclusive reissue on vinyl. You can see the Japanese hype sticker. And this sounds fantastic, and the sleeve is made fantastically. It was very expensive to get it from Japan, but it's all worth it, because I think James Iha is a very good songwriter. It's a very quiet album, very poppy, very relaxed. So it has nothing to do with the Smashing Pumpkins songs. But to be honest, back in the day, I always liked the few songs that he wrote for the Smashing Pumpkins, and they landed on, I don't know, some B-sides or so. But this one here is really good, and it's expensive, but the OGs are more expensive. All right. Thanks for watching. That was fun, and hope to see you soon.